Okay, so basically before this video begins, I just want to give you guys a little bit of background information on it. So this guy used to work with Freedom. It's a partnership program. So basically he used to work for them, and he just gave him his opinion on how it's a scam, or how it can be looked at as a scam, and how he was treated badly in the company, and how we really don't get a lot of benefits from them at all. So this is just his video. I give full credit for him. He said I can upload this video, so enjoy, and yeah, see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Hello everybody, my name is Christian, and today I will be giving a story to you all about my experience as a long-term staff member for YouTube MCN Freedom. Disclaimer: in this video, I will be telling my experiences while working for Freedom, as well as the corruption created by Freedom and its staff, with the corresponding evidence, or otherwise will be stated as speculation, in any case that concrete evidence could not be acquired or shown within this video. I am aware that what will be stated in this video will trigger certain people to respond negatively or hateful. However, I will only give factual and true statements, so please, before commenting any hate or rebuttals to this video, please remember that everything said in this video is 100% true unless otherwise stated. This is not a video to slander the company nor the staff within the company, but to pass on information to content creators and potential staff of this company to protect themselves before making the decision to work with and or for them. All information will be given from my perspective events or from information provided from previous management of the company, whom will remain anonymous in this video. I began working in Freedom in May of 2014 as manager of Beat after I was contacted by George Vanus via YouTube messaging and followed up via Skype. After a few months of back-end work, George brought on a new staff member by the name of Kevin Vieira and stated Kevin would be co-managing Beat alongside me. In our first meeting, he was very disrespectful and refused to let me speak out the majority of the time, and further stated that he would take the initiative to create all the ideas for the brand. I notified our two managers at the time, who will both remain anonymous in this video, and we had a meeting which resulted in Kevin agreeing to work as a partner in the brand, not as the owner. I recorded some of these calls where he was rude even with the managers present, however, I will refrain from playing it. However, time went on and the problem persisted. We had meetings every other day with our two managers to continue discussing the problems of Kevin being rude and an unfit co-manager. Kevin responded with a message stating, "I worked at Bent Pixels as a senior network manager in protection of digital content alongside Mike Pusatri and Marty Cordova in Las Vegas, working with corporations like UMG, Nickelodeon, AFV, and SeaWorld Parks." This was just one of the many lies he stated to retain his position in Freedom. After seeing this, I quickly went to email Marty Cordova, whom was his reference, immediately, who responded with, he was involved in the recruitment, onboarding, and network support for the Console Kings network, and he did have a music channel, Defib Records, I believe. Kevin was not involved with working with the brands you mentioned, which disproved everything he told our two managers at Freedom. The two managers ignored my report alongside the email proof, and refused to respond to any of my messages via Skype or email after this event. Kevin, over time, hired new staff almost daily and informed all the staff they would be getting paid a salary. However, our HR department directly informed him and myself not to hire staff as we're not able to pay them at the time being. Kevin even went as far as hiring someone and telling them that they'd be taking over my position as co-manager in Beat. September came, and one of our board members finally responded to me about my 4-page report regarding Kevin. She let me know that Beat was no longer a, quote, priority for Freedom, and that Beat will be shut down. Kevin was secretly transferred to another department in Freedom that was also shut down in due time due to his actions, while I was transferred to MGN. MGN was a smooth running job for me. I was a content creator for the MGN YouTube channel as well as a support streamer. Things were going well, that is until February of 2015. On January 18th, 2015, George announced on Freedom Central that MGN is sponsoring TSM, or Team Solo Mid. George spent $60,000 on the sponsorship for TSM, which did not last long due to George leaking TSM's information in a video stating, and I quote, "They also have pro teams in Hearthstone and CSGO, and they're starting their own league," which resulted in TSM's manager stopping the MGN sponsorship early before its contract end date. However, that is speculation. Due to the information already having been leaked, professional CSGO player Chris J stated in a response to the video, Wow, that was quite an annoying video, but yeah, there is a CSGO team joining TSM on Twitter. Because Freedom spent $60,000 on a very short-lived sponsorship which gave little to no results of growth for MGN besides marketing material, budgets for staffing were cut, ultimately forcing everybody working for MGN to be let go. However, MGN did not stop there. One of Freedom's well-known managers, Alex Adams, then took over MGN. I found that during my time with MGN, Alex Adams, before taking over MGN, was managing Beat. Soon after being let go from MGN, I looked more into it. After doing so, I found all of Beat's branding was copyrighted by other companies, including the Beat logo, which was simply recolored from Google Music's logo, as well as the music visualizer, which was a very obvious copy of Monstercat's visualizer, both of which were blatantly obvious, and I personally am confused on how we got past George with it. Because I noticed this, I made a post on my Facebook fan page stating, Beat's previous manager is now running MGN. It's only a matter of time before that goes downhill as well. Not long after this post, did another manager in Freedom inform me that Alex had created his own slanderous text posts and images, sent them to George, and he stated he, quote, screenshot them from my various social media outlets. Unfortunately, I'm having trouble obtaining the screenshots from an old Skype archive file, so I can't give concrete evidence regarding that. However, because I didn't want to begin a war inside of Freedom, I denied those claims and moved on without telling George he photoshopped the screenshots. In Freedom, you can get away with almost anything depending on how favored you are over the opposing person. This is why I didn't want to escalate the issue, because it would only backfire. After a few months went by, George contacted me again via Skype, informing me that he, quote, had no idea I was let go and hadn't been working for Freedom. He immediately set me back up to work under the new manager of Beat, whose name I cannot release. I asked George in our Skype conversation if he would send me an email stating that only he, George, could fire me, explaining the history of corrupt managers resulting in me being let go so many times before. George agreed and sent the email. You can read it on the screen now. My new manager was a great manager, and I loved working under him. He had his work together and didn't let company politics get involved while recognizing me for my hard work. I still have contact with him today, and he is a great guy who does a lot of hard work. However, after about 5 months of working for him, he informed me that many Freedom staff have sent him emails petitioning to fire me because they believed I was a, quote, bad employee, unreliable, and couldn't keep my job. I know the names of 5 of the people who were involved in this, however, we'll come back to that shortly. In January of 2016, my manager was fired from Freedom. A former manager of Freedom, Gabriel, was using Freedom's resources to work on his own project on the side to compete with Freedom. He tricked other staff, including my manager, into helping him with his project, making the staff believe it was for Freedom. In the end, it came out that Gabriel was threatening and blackmailing Freedom staff to help him and keep quiet about his project. However, with my manager, that wasn't the case. He continued to send death threats to my manager because he informed George about what he was up to. Gabriel was then fired along with every person involved with him, regardless of their intentions or what their involvement was, including my manager. Because of this, George asked me to become manager of Beat for the 3rd time. I told him respectfully that I didn't think I was experienced enough to take on the position, however would temporarily run Beat until I was able to find a new manager. After a month, I found the perfect manager for Beat, after interviewing so many people. He was a close friend of mine and more than experienced in the music industry, especially with running a label. I brought him on to George, however George decided to put someone by the name of Jorge Gonzalez as manager of Beat. His real name is Ray Irizarry, but we'll continue to call him Jorge for consistency. He goes by a fake name because he is breaking his no competitor agreement with Broadband TV by working for Freedom. Jorge was nice and worked well with us at first, although the problem came forward when he wanted to run Beat to cater to the Spanish market only, and I quote, I didn't agree with it, but I was getting paid, and it wouldn't come down on me if things fell apart again. Or might have. In the same meeting, Jorge told me not to do any work until we had the contracts finished so we could be consistent with our work. It took a while for me to convince him to agree to working consistently, not in parts, as resources are available. He said he'd speak with Mirko, the COO of Freedom, and get back with me. 3 days later, Jorge called me once again and asked what I had done in the last few days. I informed him per our agreement in the last meeting that I should be doing nothing until otherwise told by him, when our resources are available for us to continue working consistently. He further argued with me for the next 5 minutes with little to no logical responses, as he was countering what he said only 3 days beforehand. The entire call he was hostile and very rude with me. I then informed Jorge that I wanted to transfer to work in another department, which he was very opposed to agreeing with. After a few days, I acquired screenshots of a conversation a manager had with Jorge regarding me. Jorge stated, and I quote, "This may be a way to justify his lackluster performance with Beat," to which the manager replied, "What performance? As far as I'm aware, there aren't any metrics we can use for that until they can sign artists, advertise tunes, etc., both of which are held up due to circumstances that seem to me, outside of their control." The manager was correct. As per Jorge, neither myself nor my friend ran Beat, and had zero resources to accomplish any work. So, was I lacklustering my work? Or did Jorge simply not provide the resources needed at the time to have any work done? I'd like to input that Jorge did want me to contact all of the artists that applied to sign with Beat. However, as stated before, we did not have any of the resources or contracts to contact them with. Therefore, a mutual agreement was made to hold off on that. Days later, Jorge called me via Skype, and with very little conversation, with the call lasting only 2 minutes, he stated aggressively, quote, "Christian, there is so much I want to say to you right now, but unfortunately, I can't." With nothing for me to respond with, I simply let him continue. "I'm going to have to fire you," he said. Not long after, the call was over, and my Freedom email was locked along with all of my work. I sent an email to George the same day, February 6, 2016, regarding being fired and why I believe Jorge became so hostile without any reason so suddenly, while also exposing all of my experiences within Freedom with corrupt company politics. The email I sent stated as follows. "Hello George, there's a major problem that I'd like to bring to your attention that has caused problems for me for a very long time within Freedom. As a responsible employee, I feel like I am obligated to inform you of any concerns or issues happening within your company. I wanted to bring this to your attention because I know this is holding Freedom back and is hurting Freedom a very great deal within the company, as well as myself, without you knowing about it. I found through a few sources that Mirko, the COO of Freedom, has a very emphasized disliking of me for what I believe is for the social media stuff from about a year ago that was taken the wrong way, as we discussed the misunderstanding previously. However, I'd like to start from the beginning so that you know the whole story and can better understand what is going on. It started back when I posted on my Facebook fan page that I disagreed with how Alex Adams was managing MGN with the 360p videos being uploaded under his new staff, as I informed you a while back. After Alex Adams saw this post, which also makes me wonder why he was watching my social media outlets months after I have been laid off from Freedom, he began creating false screenshots and typing his own text posts and sending them to the higher-ups saying I said all of these "I hate Freedom" posts. After sharing and misinterpreting my post as hateful, while also I never did any of that, and what he showed, which I was unable to get my hands on, were all fake and created by him. Now I know you're wondering why I never brought this up in the past when you asked about this issue with social media posts, is because I did not want to start any altercations within Freedom between staff and let the harassment pass by without bringing it back up, even if it would offend myself, because I thought it would somehow backfire and hurt me further. Because he created these screenshots and text posts and saying it was me, I believe this is why Mirko has a very strong disliking of me. Since then, I have been harassed and attacked by other Freedom staff members because of his disliking of me that I believe he has spread to some of the other staff. 2 examples here regarding this problem follow. I'll refer to one of the managers that was a friend of mine as Friend 1, as he requested to remain anonymous. 1. I found through multiple sources that there was once a petition, so to say, where the majority of Freedom staff were involved in collectively conspiring to have me fired. I only know a few of the names involved, which include Mirko, Friend 1, someone else named Jake in the headquarters, and various others I didn't acquire the names of at the time. Mostly people I never even met before. Another was Gabriel, whom I never even met before in Freedom. 2. I've been noticing that more and more staff I'm introduced to soon become rude and aggressive in their tone when speaking to me, such as Friend 1, whom I've worked with back in TGN, and since then, I found in mid-December that he was telling my manager to fire me because, quote, I get fired a lot, and I'm a, quote, terrible person, etc. I had no idea that friend 1 thought this way, and thought we were still good friends. We just hadn't talked in a while. What other reason would he have to say any of those things besides being told false and biased information from a higher up, that being Mirko? However, that is only my theory. But also, where would he even have gotten any of the information that he did to say those things? He certainly didn't make it up and happened to be somewhat accurate. I spoke to my friend I referred to in this email months later. He informed me that Mirko did in fact lock him out of his work email and used it to send emails out against other staff members, which explains why my manager received emails from my friend stating I was a terrible person and should be fired. For the following, I'll refer to my coworker by the name of Friend 2 as he requested to remain anonymous. Another example is Jorge, whom recently I've had multiple meetings with one-on-one as well as with Friend 2. In all meetings he was kind and open to all input and cooperative. However, in our last meeting, he said he needed to speak with Mirko and get things in order for Beat. Only days later I had another call with Jorge. He seemed to have a completely opposing demeanor towards me, being aggressive and harassing me about what work I have and have not done the last few days, while also informing me that Friend 2 nor myself will be head of Beat nor Tunes. I believe this decision was made by Mirko, forwarded by Jorge. I also believe this decision was made unfairly and revoked Friend 2's position of manager because of my affiliation with him, which I believe Mirko disapproves of. All of these problems are affecting my work and the image I'm unable to uphold for myself to the Freedom Company. I am given no resources, time, nor tools and am judged as incompetent far too quickly before, as an organization, realizing freedom may be part of the issue. I also believe that I am not being judged fair based on what I can actually accomplish, and that I am being prejudiced for what people have heard about me or were told to think about me, as higher up staff target me for harassment and biased decision making. This being said, I feel as though history is repeating itself with Beat, and do not feel secure nor safe working under the Beat name, as I feel Beat has this black cloud above it where bad things will come, as they have in the past. This was a very strong paragraph I tried to emphasize to George, that I have been judged multiple times incompetent while having no tools or resources to complete my work, and that the organization Freedom refuses to realize that it is part of the problem, not just me. This is something that about 7 staff members in Freedom have also expressed to me, so it's just not myself. Please do not take this email the wrong way, George. My reasons for bringing this information to you is because, as I said before, I believe in Freedom's success and am dedicated to help Freedom in any way I can, and a potentially corrupt COO does not scare me enough to keep me quiet about their targeted harassment. My intentions for bringing you this information is so that something can be done to fix these problems. Here I try to express that my loyalty to the company surpasses the threats and harassment from the COO, and that I would report even one of the higher-ups for their corruption if it means Freedom's success. To be as blunt as possible with you, George, I've been trying to kiss ass to every staff in Freedom that I meet, sorry for language, connect with as many staff as possible, and take on as much work and do the best I possibly can in hopes that this would get better for me within Freedom, which all of my previous managers have confirmed as well. However, things continue to worsen because of this higher-ups harassment, and with the majority of the staff in Freedom hating me, when they don't even know who I am, it's really hard for me to prove myself to Freedom and you, and show my usefulness and reliability when someone who has full control over how I present myself is within the company. I've been pushed around for 2 years by various management within Freedom, yet after 2 years of these issues, I still remain in Freedom with the best intentions and the highest dedication of any staff member in this company. I think that alone says how valuable of an asset I can be to this company. I tried to emphasize in this section of my email that even after I've been screwed over so much by Freedom, I still dedicate myself to the company, and that should show how valuable I can be to the company. However, I was absolutely wrong for this in the end. I do hope that this email finds you well and that you are able to get in touch with me sometime regarding this so that we can fix the problems together and move forward. I would like to continue working for Freedom, however that seems slightly possible with the issues at bay that I've brought to your attention so Freedom can grow and prosper. Please have a great day and please do not let it stress you. George contacted me back via Skype regarding my email stating, "Christian, no one has conspired to have you fired. It was simply your output and the bad PR that resulted in that. If you work with a team, constantly communicate and do good things will happen." This struck me hard. Bad PR? If I had bad PR, I wouldn't have been commended by 4 reputable managers as well as your wife. So that has already been proven wrong. I responded with, not to be argumentative, but my PR did not cause Kevin to cheat multiple people out of jobs and openly try to replace me, nor create a friendship with friend 1, and out of the blue, he began to hate me openly, nor to have people I have never heard of petition to fire me. By no means of disrespect, none of those causes were a response to any of my actions or bad PR. Though a lot of what was in my email was speculation, what I specified, what I know, were factual events. I tried to explain to George and give examples of events that previously took place that made me look bad, what were not a result of bad public relations. However, my response, for the most part, went ignored. George responded with, Christian, I suggest just focus on the work and creating good results. Forget the past, those people are no longer with us. Correct, they are no longer with the company, however it doesn't mean that the events stated never happened. However, I tried to let it go and responded with, I will continue to do my best as always. Notice that all of the points I brought up in my email and Skype messages were all ignored and partially irrelevant responses were given. Even with evidence to these events have taken place, it was still completely ignored. A few days later on February 10th, I brought up my being fired with George, saying, I will be focusing my full attention towards the community team as I was just fired from Beat. I will be sure to keep up with all future video comments on Freedom. He responded with, you must have done something to make him feel that you should be let go. To this I responded, he was upset that I was not available each time he asked for me or called me. I explained to him that for $300 monthly I can't dedicate a full-time schedule to him. In the call, he said, I assume you wanted more pay, which I can't do, so I'm gonna have to let you go. As friend 2 told me the next day, Jorge said he'd try and give him a 4-digit payout monthly. That's fair. I mean, really, I was fired for not dedicating myself full-time for a $300 a month, but he offers my recently hired friend for a 4-digit payout? $300 is fine, as it always has been, but it doesn't cover anything in America, so I have to dedicate my time equally through various things to bring more income. For those watching this that live on their own, whom live in America, you know that spending less than $250 on food per month is nearly impossible without getting extremely unhealthy. I continued with, like I said in my email, we were on the same page until he stated he jumped in a call with Mirko, only to then have become rude and aggressive each time we spoke thereafter. I can't suck up to someone who doesn't like me, haha. I believe the root of the tension is because I tried to explain to Jorge early on that you can have all the experience in the world running a business, but if you don't know how to cater to your target demographic, you'll crash and burn said business. Any and all entrepreneurs can agree with me on that one, let's be honest. He stated he wanted a Spanish-only Beat, and not to work on an English market for Beat. Because of our different perspectives on how Beat should be ran, I believe he took it personally. I have over 8 years in the music industry as both as a musician and professionally, and my uncle has run a successful label in Atlanta for over 20 years. I tried to tell Jorge, quote, I have so-and-so experience in the music industry, he admitting to having none. And if I have suggested something for Beat, it should be taken into strong consideration as I have more than enough experience in this field. The last time I tried reporting someone in Freedom, it went ignored and it escalated over months. I had a 5-page report on him, that being Kevin Vieira. After about 8 months after the incident, did people begin to come out with the truth alongside me, including Anthony, senior manager of Freedom at the time, and made the situation heard and proved I was telling the truth, along with the 4 other staff that reported him that were ignored in my report. This situation seems to be no different. With all respect, the biggest problem in Freedom internally is the business politics within the company that get the wrong people punished while those that are corrupt continue moving forward successfully, as it has happened in the past. After that message was sent, I received no response. It has been almost 2 months now and I've still not heard back from George. I then spoke with a few other staff members that I'm close with, and they stated to me, quote, there's been like 2 or 3 different people lately that have gotten fired, and Mirko has no clue why and looks for ways to bring them back in different positions. That is favoritism, which is the point I tried to bring up multiple times to George, which he ignored entirely, which is pretty much the entire reason behind everything that's happened thus far to me inside of Freedom. I did also lose my job that paid $10 an hour due to Freedom's false promises. As stated previously, it was planned that I would be moving to Freedom to work at the headquarters in the Philippines, so I left my job about 2 months before I would make the initial move. I resigned from my day job on exactly January 1st, 2016. However, only 31 days after leaving my job to work for Freedom full-time, I was fired by Jorge, as stated previously, thus leaving me without income. As I type and record this, I've run through 3/4 of my savings account to purchase food for myself while seeking employment. Thank you, Freedom. So this concludes my experience working at MCN Freedom. I hope that both content creators as well as those looking to work for Freedom take a look at my experience and take it into strong consideration before making any decisions whether or not to work for this company. I'm not telling you not to work with or partner with Freedom, though I am saying that you should strongly consider what could happen if you were to. I don't believe that a company or people should be praised for being good and kind when in reality they are not. I am now unable to remain silent about the amount of troubles I've been through because of this company, which is why this video is being made. I removed the names of those who requested it for this video to be made, such as my previous managers and other staff of the company. I have more information regarding the corruption of this company and its staff, however, I only included what affected me directly, also leaving out a lot of the smaller, less significant details. I am aware that some Freedom staff will see this video and will possibly do their best to have it removed. Freedom might have someone make a response to this video representing the company or by own will. However, please keep in mind that all that was said in this video was from my position with the company and is all factual. I am also aware that many fans, partners, and possibly staff of Freedom may try to claim that I am lying, seeking attention, or slandering the company or its staff. However, that is not the case, and the truth of the matter is, what was said in this video is all factual based on my standing within the company as well as the perspectives from other management that took place while working for the company. I understand I more than likely will receive a lot of hate for this video, though please try to refrain from any hate, as it will be more than likely considered a biased opinion based on your outside perspective of Freedom. If you were not involved directly with anything I stated that has taken place with me, please withhold any comments stating, "You're a liar," just because you are in denial of what the company has done to me and possibly others. Let's be logical about this. I hope you all will see this video in good faith and not as a video to slander the company nor its staff, but as what you could consider a vlog of what has happened with my experience at this company. Thank you.